Guys, be honest. When you open the human evolution chapter, do you feel like you are trying to memorize a phone book of random ancestors? Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, Homo this, Homo that. It's a headache, right? Stop memorizing blindly. Today, we are going to turn this boring history lesson into a story. We are going to cover Lamarck versus Darwin, the ultimate battle, the evidence hidden inside your own body right now, and the exact roadmap of how we went from walking on four legs to building AI. And stick around till the end. I have analyzed the past year questions and I found something very strange about the 2023 paper that you need to know. Let's evolve. First, what is evolution? Don't overcomplicate it. Think of it like iPhones. The iPhone 15 didn't just appear out of nowhere. It is a modified descendant of the iPhone 14, which came from the 13 all the way back to the bulky brick phones. Biological evolution is the same. It is a gradual, continuous change over a long time. Result? New species. The rule: present-day organisms are just modified versions of past ancestors. Now, how did this happen? Two heavyweights entered the ring to explain this: John Baptist de Lamarck and Charles Darwin. Let's look at Lamarck first. Lamarck's theory is famous for, well, being wrong. He believed in inheritance of acquired characters. Basically, if you use an organ, it grows. If you don't, it shrinks. And this is the crazy part. He thought you pass that growth to your babies. Imagine this: if I go to the gym for 10 years and become a bodybuilder, will my baby be born with a six-pack? No, right? That's why Lamarck was rejected. Changes in your body cells, that is somatic cells, don't change your DNA or germ cells. Sorry, Lamarck. Enter the champion, Charles Darwin. In his book Origin of Species, he didn't say organisms try to change. He said nature is a battlefield. Here is Darwin's logic in 3 steps. Number 1, overproduction. Nature makes too many babies. Number 2, struggle for existence. There isn't enough food or space. It's a war. Number 3, survival of the fittest. Only those with the best variation, like a slightly longer neck, survive. The rest, they die out. Nature acts like a filter. It selects the best traits. That is natural selection. Now you might be thinking, Sweta ma'am, does this survival of the fittest actually happen? Let me tell you the famous story of the peppered moth in England. This is the best example of natural selection. You can write in your exam. Imagine England before the factories. The trees were covered in white lichens. If you were a light colored moth, you blended in perfectly. You were safe. But if you were a dark moth, you stood out. The birds saw you and ate you. So in the beginning, nature selected the light moths. But then came the Industrial Revolution. Smoke and soot killed the lichens and turned the tree trunks black. The game changed instantly. Now the dark moths were invisible against the dark trees, but the light moths, they stood out like a light bulb. The birds started eating them instead. Within a few years, the dark moths became the majority. Did the moths try to change color? No, the environment changed. The predators ate the visible ones and the fittest survived. That is natural selection. This brings us to a guaranteed exam question. What is the difference? Lamarck said, we evolve because we want to use and disuse. Darwin said, we evolve because nature selects the survivors. Lamarck said, acquired traits are passed on. False. Darwin said, only genetic variations are passed on, which is true. Don't believe in evolution. Your body is a crime scene full of evidence. These are called vestigial organs, parts that were useful to our ancestors but are useless to us now. Check these out. Wisdom teeth, used for chewing raw meat, now just a dentist bill. Vermiform appendix used for digesting cellulose, now useless. Pinna muscles. Dog can move their ears to hear better. Can you? We still have the muscles, but they don't work. Okay, everyone, here is the main event, the timeline of us. I don't want you to stress about memorizing exact dates. Instead, focus on the sequence. Just remember this cheat code, AHENCS. Let's break it down story style. First, we have Australopithecus, also known as the Southern Ape. He lived about 4 million years ago. Think of him as the walker because he was the very first ancestor to walk upright on two legs, a trait we call bipedalism, even though he still had a very ape-like face. Next came Homo habilis, or the handyman, around 2 million years ago. We call him the builder because he was the first guy to actually fashion simple stone tools. He wasn't just walking around anymore, he was actually working. Then, about 1.5 million years ago, Homo erectus arrived, known as the upright man. I like to call him the chef. Why? Because his major breakthrough was discovering fire. That single discovery changed everything for our survival. After that, we met the Neanderthal man. Think of him as the thinker. These ancestors lived in caves and wore animal skins to stay warm. But the most important thing to remember is that they buried their dead. This is huge because it is the first real evidence of emotions and culture in history. Next up is Cro-Magnon, who is essentially the artist. They were physically almost identical to us. They used much more advanced tools, but they are most famous for creating beautiful cave paintings, showing a leap in creativity. And finally, that leads to Homo sapiens, which is us. We are defined by high intelligence, advanced science, and the ability to create technology, like the screen you are watching this video on right now. Alright, stop taking notes for a second. We are going to test what you just learned. I went digging through the archives to find the past year questions for this chapter. Here is the situation. I have the official questions from 2020, 2024 and 2025. But 2023, it's a mystery. I checked the papers and solved banks, and there were barely any direct questions from this chapter in 2023. This means the board is unpredictable. They might skip it one year and then drop these exact questions the next. So we are not taking any risks. Let's solve the questions we do have right now together. I will put the questions on screen. You try to answer it before I do. 2025 first question. An insect which is a classic example of natural selection due to industrial melanism. It will be Piston Betularia. Let's see the next question. What are vestigial organs? Vestigial organs are those organs that have ceased to be of any use to the possessor, but still persist generation after generation in a reduced form. Give one example. You can write wisdom teeth. Next question, let's see. Give any two characteristic features of a Cro-Magnon man. So you can write they had large skull, broad face, large skull, broad face, rounded forehead, prominent chin, rounded forehead can be written. So this can be written. Next question. Industrial melanism was observed in peppered moth. Let's see next question. We have to arrange in correct order. Australopithecus, then Homo erectus, then Neanderthal man and Cro-Magnon man. Let's see next question. Differentiate between Australopithecus and modern man based on body hair. Body covered with hair. And in modern man, hair is highly reduced. next question. Again, we have to arrange in correct order: Australopithecus, then Homo erectus, then Neanderthal man, and then Cro-Magnon man. And fifth will be Homo sapiens. Next, Biston betullaria, peppered moth. Next question. Give biological reasons for the following. Homo sapiens is the most highly evolved form of man. You can write that they have bipedal locomotion, entirely erect posture, and you can also write about their hair on limbs and body, highly reduced. These can be written. Next question. Look at this question. Given below are two stages in the evolution of man. Study them and answer the questions that follow. Identify the Australopithecus and Neanderthal man. This is Australopithecus and this is Neanderthal man. They are telling mention two characteristic features of each for the two stages. So for Neanderthal man, we can write that their cranial capacity is 1450 centimeter cube. They had absolute bipedalism. But in case of Australopithecus, their cranial capacity was only 450 to 600 centimeter cube. You have to learn these points. And their walking was nearly straight. So that can be written, walking was nearly straight, but here it was absolute bipedalism. Who proposed the theory of natural selection? Lamarck proposed. Name the organism used as an example to explain industrial melanism. You can write peppered moth or Biston betullaria, peppered moth or Biston betullaria. Give two examples of vestigial organ in human: wisdom tooth, vermiform appendix. These can be written. And that is it. You just solved the actual board questions. As you can see, they don't ask for rocket science. They ask for definitions, the sequence AHENCS, and simple comparisons. Since 2023 was a gap year for this chapter, you need to be prepared for questions like these to bounce back in your exam. If this solve with me format helped you, hit that like button so I know to do this for the next chapter too. Don't forget to subscribe to Learn Smart with Sweta. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.